Welcome to the Book of Balance podcast, where real stories meet real numbers. I'm your host, Patricia Oholeguy, your bookkeeper and believer that business should serve your life, not consume it. Each week, we sit down with entrepreneurs who've built their dreams from scratch and learned to balance their books, their boundaries, and their energy along the way. Ready to turn the page on financial stress and write your own story of clarity? Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Book of Balance. I'm Patricia Oholeguy, and today we're diving deeper into something I said in the last episode with Juliana that I think really it needs its own conversation. If you didn't catch that episode, go back and listen to it because she shared how she left her big company to start her financial coaching business with her baby strapped to her chest. And no perfect plan, no ideal timing, just actions. And during that conversation, I said something that I want you to really hear today. Most people wait until they have it all together, but clarity comes after action. And let me say that again, clarity comes after action, not before. So today I'm going to break down why waiting for the right time is keeping you broke and stuck, and how messy steps actually create the momentum you're looking for, and how your bookkeeping can become a mirror for better decision making instead of just another burden on your to do list. So let's get into it. So here's what I see all the time: business owners who've been getting ready to clean up their books for 6 months, a year, sometimes even longer. They're waiting until they have time, until they understand QuickBooks Online better, or until they can afford a bookkeeper, until business slows down, until they feel this overwhelmed. And you know what happens while we wait? The business keeps running, money keeps coming in and going out, decisions still need to be made, tax deadlines don't get paused, and every single day they wait, the mess gets just a little bigger, the anxiety gets just a bit heavier, and the clarity they're looking for moves just a little bit further away. So, let me tell you what waiting until you're ready actually looks like in real life. It looks like a contractor I talked to last year who was making great money, easily 600,000 in revenue, but he had no idea if he was actually profitable. He kept saying, "I'll get to my books when the season slows down." But the season never slowed down enough. And when tax time came, chaos, scrambling, and a bill he didn't even see coming because he was flying blind the whole year. Or the service provider who told me, "I need to learn QuickBooks before I start tracking anything." So she waited and waited. And in the meantime, she was making financial decisions based on her balance on her checking account, which, by the way, is not the same as profit, not even close. So here's the truth: waiting for the right time is just fear dressed up as responsibility. It sounds responsible to say, "Oh, wait, I want to do this right. So I'm going to wait until I am ready." But what you're really saying is, "I'm afraid I'll do it wrong, so I'm just not going to do it at all." And I get it. I really do. When I transitioned from running my home daycare to bookkeeping full time, I didn't have it all figured out. I didn't have a perfect business plan. I didn't know exactly how I was going to serve my clients or what my offers would look like down the road. I only knew what my clients needed at that moment, and I only knew how to manage my business at that current situation. But I started anyway. And everything I know now, I learned by doing. And Juliana said the same thing in the last episode. She spent over a year doing nothing with her business after she had registered it. Then she tried wedding financial planning and realized after four wedding expos that it wasn't the right niche. Did she waste the year? No. She was learning, adjusting, getting clearer about who she really actually wanted to serve. That's what imperfect action does. It gives you information that waiting never will. So, if you're waiting to fix your books until you feel ready, let me ask you this: what are you waiting for, really? Because the business you have right now is the one that needs your attention, not the perfect version of your imagining 6 months from now business, but The right time is now. Messy, imperfect, inconvenient, whatever. It's still now. So, okay, let's say you're convinced. Now you're ready to stop waiting, but now you're thinking, where do I even start? And this is when people get stuck because they're thinking they need to tackle everything at once. They think they need to catch up 6 months of receipts, reorganize the entire chart of accounts, reconcile every account, and set up their perfect systems all in one weekend. And no, you don't. So stop. That's the same perfectionism thinking that kept you waiting in the first place. So here's what I want you to do instead: pick one small thing, just one. Maybe it's just opening QuickBooks and looking at your profit and loss for the last month. That is it. You don't need to fix anything or do anything. Just look at it, learn the system, know where the buttons are, click different things, get familiar with the platform, and that's it. And then walk away. Or maybe it's creating one folder on your computer label saying 2025 receipts and dropping this month's receipts in there. Done. Or maybe it's categorizing just last week's transactions, not last quarter, not last year, only last week's. Small, messy, and perfect. And here's what happens when you do that: you build momentum. Momentum isn't about doing everything, it's about doing something. Because once you do one thing, the next thing doesn't feel as heavy. And then the next thing after that gets a little easier. This is exactly how I built my membership, the Clarity Compass membership. I didn't wait until I had 12 months of content ready. I didn't wait until I had a perfect funnel or a huge email list. I started with a handful of clients who needed support but couldn't afford full service bookkeeping yet. I created one training, then another, and then I added a weekly call. And then every single piece of the program came from listening to what my clients actually needed in real time, not from some theory or a plan I made sitting alone at my desk. The same thing happened with my podcast. Do you think I waited until I had a year's worth of episodes recorded before I launched? Nope. I committed to showing up, recording conversations, and learning as I went. And each episode gets better and better because I'm doing it. It's not because I waited to the perfect first. Juliana talked about this too. She wasted, her words, not mine, so much time trying to perfect everything before she started her website, her pricing, her messaging. And none of it mattered until she actually started working with real clients and getting real feedback. That's the thing about small business. Messy steps, they give you real world data. They show you what works and what doesn't. And that information is worth more than the amount of planning that you can ever do. So if you're looking at your finances right now and you feel overwhelmed, I want you to ask yourself, what's one small thing that you could do today? Not everything, not perfection again, just one small thing. Just think about it. Once you got it, now do it. Because that one thing will lead to the next thing. And before you know it, you'll build momentum. And momentum is what carries you forward, not perfect plans. All right. So now let's talk about bookkeeping. Most business owners see bookkeeping as their annoying task that they have to stay out of trouble with the IRS. It's a chore, it's a checkbox, something to get through so they can get back to the real work. But here's what I want you to understand: your books are not just a record for what happened, it's a mirror showing what's working and what isn't. When you look at your profit and loss statements, you're just not looking at numbers, you're seeing the decisions that reflect back at you. If you were spending $500 a month on a software subscription you're not using, your profit and loss statement will show that. If your labor costs are eating 60 or 70% of your revenue, your profit and loss is going to show you that. If you're bringing in great money but still feel broke, your profit and loss will show you where is it all going. Your books are your feedback, and feedback is how you grow. Think about it like this. If you go on a scale once a year, how would you know if your health habits were working? You wouldn't. You'll just be guessing. But if you check your weight regularly, not obsessively, just consistently, you'll get real time feedback, your trends. You can make small adjustments on your diet before things get out of control. Your bookkeeping works the same way. When you're looking at the numbers every month, or better yet, every week, you're not just recording history, you're creating a feedback loop. You're seeing what's happening in real time, and that gives you the power to make better decisions. Let me give you an example. I work with a lot of contractors, and one of my biggest issues is I see this that their price jobs are based on gut feeling. They think, oh, job should cost around $20,000, and they charge that, but they're not actually tracking their cost per project. So when I pull up their books and when I start breaking it down, they realize they're losing money on half of their jobs. Not because they're bad at their work, they're excellent, but because they didn't have the mirror. They didn't have the feedback to tell them, hey, this type of project actually costs more than you were charging. Once they have that information, everything changes. They can adjust their pricing, they can say no to unprofitable work, they can double down on the jobs that actually make them money, and that's what I mean by using bookkeeping as a mirror. It is not about perfection. It is not about having a spotless chart of accounts or reconciling to the penny every single day. It's about having enough clarity to make informed decisions instead of just jumping and hoping that things work out. And here's the thing, my friends, you don't need to be an accountant to do this. You don't need a degree or certifications. You just need to show up, look at your numbers, and ask yourself, what is this telling me? What do I need to do differently? And that is exactly why I created the Clarity Compass. This membership is for you to come and work on your books because I saw too many business owners earning 100,000, 150,000, even 200,000, but they couldn't afford full service bookkeeping yet. They need to do their books on their own, but they also need someone to guide them, to help them see what the numbers were really saying, and to support them as they build that skill. Because here's what I know: when you understand your numbers, you make better decisions. When you make better decisions, you grow. And when you grow, you can eventually hand off your books to someone else. But you'll still understand them. You'll still know what to look for. You'll still have that mirror. So stop seeing bookkeeping as a burden. Start seeing it as the most valuable business tool you'll have. Because honestly, it is. All right. Let's bring all of this home. If you take nothing else from this episode, I want you to think about this. Clarity doesn't come from waiting. It doesn't come from having all the answers. It doesn't come from perfection. Clarity comes from action. Messy, imperfect, one step at a time, action. Juliana started her business with her baby strapped to her chest and no childcare. She didn't wait. She didn't have it all figured out. She just started, and now she's helping families build financial peace and plan for their futures. I started my bookkeeping while I was still running my daycare, not knowing exactly where it would go. And now I'm supporting heart centered entrepreneurs every single week through Clarity Compass membership and helping them build the financial foundation they need to grow with confidence. I didn't have it all together and I didn't even know that need existed. And yet now I have a full fledged membership to help those in the middle. So you don't have to have it all together. You just need to take the next step. If your books are messy, pick one thing, reconcile one account, categorize one week of transactions, look at one month's profit and loss. Just do one thing. And if you're ready for someone to walk with you through this, and if you're tired of feeling overwhelmed and you want a clear plan forward, I want to invite you to come to a clarity session with me. And in that session, we're going to go look at your books and where you're at and where you want to go and what's next for you. No judgment, no shame, just clarity. You can find the link to book one of my sessions with me in the notes. This is your invitation to stop waiting and start moving because your business needs you to show up. Not perfect, just present. So thank you again for listening to the Book of Balance. If this episode resonated with you, share it with another business owner who needs to hear it, and I'll see you next week. Or perhaps I'll see you in a clarity session where we can actually dive into your numbers and maybe I can help you in a deeper way. Either way, I can't wait to connect. I can't wait to help you. And until then, continue to stay with peace and clarity. Thank you for joining me for today's episode of the Book of Balance podcast. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and found value in the insights we shared. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss a future episode. And as promised during the show, you'll also find a link in the description with today's guest information, website links, and all the mentions we talked about during the episode. And if you're a do-it-yourself entrepreneur, you can join the Clarity Compass method at claritycompassllc.com. It's a monthly subscription where business owners like you dedicate just 1 hour each week to work in their books, get their questions answered, and stay consistent with their support of a community committed to financial clarity. Now, if you'd like to connect with me personally, head on to my website, oholeguy.com, to schedule your complimentary 15-minute consultation. It's the perfect way to get your personalized bookkeeping questions answered and explore how the white glove services can support your business. And on the last note, remember, we are not lawyers or financial advisors. Everything shared here reflects our professional opinions and is provided solely for educational purposes and entertainment purposes only. So thanks again for listening, and until next time, keep your compass set on clarity.